Welcome to this week's edition of Hockey Inside Out. My name is Adam Susser. Let's take a look at what we're going to be talking about on this week's episode. Number 1, is Andrew Shaw too dirty for the Habs? Number 2, what are your first impressions of Shea Weber after 3 games? Number 3, how many more seasons does Andrei Markov have left in him? And number 4, what are your first impressions of Tuesday night's home opener against Pittsburgh? What did you like? What did you dislike, if anything? Let's meet our panel. This man just gave me a 25-minute lecture about why he'd vote Trump if he were American. He told me not to tell anyone, but whatever, Stu, your secret's out. Stu Cowan, ladies and gentlemen. This man was my dad's favorite Habs player when my dad was a small child. Chris Nilan's here. She's the Kanye to my Jay-Z, the Michel Terrier to my Marc Bergevin, because we're best friends and we stick together. CBC Daybreak sports reporter Andie Bennett is here.
Can I be Bergevin?
No, I'm Bergevin. I'm the host. I'm Bergevin. Over the summer, Marc Bergevin signed Andrew Shaw to a 6-year, $23.4 million contract. Anyone disappointed by the signing of yet another small player may not have too much to complain about by the season's end. Andrew Shaw's 5'11" and 179 pounds, but I don't think he ever got that memo because he plays like a younger Zdeno Chara who's constantly mad all the time. Only 7 preseason games and 3 regular season games in, Shawzy has already been suspended for 3 games, has incited an arena cheering squad for one of his fights, and most recently was given a match penalty for his slew foot on Buffalo's Johan Larsson. Suffice to say, the man's been hard at work. Will this type of over-enthusiastic grit benefit the Canadiens over time? Or a more poignant question is Andrew Shaw too damn dirty for the Montreal Canadiens?
Chris, you played a rugged style. What's your thoughts on him?
I don't have a problem with this game whatsoever. He's not the biggest guy, but he plays big. He's a great playoff performer. He's a consistent player on the ice, and he's a character kid. Sometimes he steps out of line. With players like that, teams have to take the good and the bad. I'd rather see him take 2 minutes for elbowing someone or slashing someone or slew-footing someone than a cheap little hook in the offensive zone or a little hold and penalty in the offensive zone. He brings a lot of character and grit to the team. I really love the player. I think he should have gave him $24 million, not $23.4.
When you see him in the room, it's amazing how small the guy is. I mean, it's really, you have to admire the courage that he plays with. Although I think he's going to have to really be careful because Stefan Cantal had a talk with him after the slew foot and not being suspended, and you have to think that the next time he does cross that line even a little bit, the NHL is going to come down on him.
Well, I mean, there's 2 different kinds of small players, right? I mean, you have small guys that are kind of ineffective in that
Johnny
role.
Gaudreau small.
Then you have guys like, the Brendan Gallagher, the Andrew Shaw, where, the first time I saw Shaw at the golf tournament, I thought it was David Desharnais when he walked by me quickly.
David Desharnais might be way more. He's more physical.
Exactly. So, and Shaw's saying, that after that first suspension, it's not his type of game that he plays. And for a guy that plays on the line like that, it's not like he's racked up a ton of suspensions. And, that's what you're going to get when you play with that grit and you're walking that fine line. Sometimes you're going to teeter over the edge. But, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for
No, you have to
opposing
take the good with the
teams.
bad with players like that. And there's going to be a whole lot more good than bad.
Yeah, I think especially come playoff time, we're all going to be thanking our lucky stars that a guy like that is on our team, because that's when it really gets rough.
This is a team that really lacked grit last year and lacked some pushback. But it's another case of the Canadiens have small players who play big and some big players who play small. But nobody plays bigger than Andrew Shaw, and he's a bit of a throwback to the older days. No visor, running around, and he's not fun to play against.
Yeah, he's like Gallagher's dirty older brother that got shipped away to boarding school. He's back now, and he's out to make a stink. You know what I mean? What were your first impressions of Shea Weber after 3 games playing for the Canadiens?
You liked him all along, eh, Chris? You've liked
Yeah,
this
I
guy.
like Weber all along. I mean, people say he got hard miles. I get it. But they were talking like he's Forrest Gump or something, and he can't walk or he can't skate anymore. I mean, this kid, he's a big boy. He brings a character, grit, determination, all those good things that you want from a player, and a player that's a leader on the ice. He's tough around the net. He's tough in the corners. People on other teams really respect the fact that he's on the ice. And you're not going to be able to take advantage of the Montreal Canadiens when he's on the ice.
That is one of the things I've noticed is that respect. I mean, you don't see too many guys taking him into the corner. When he's in there, I mean, they're just, people kind of give him a little bit more space than you normally would. And that's, that's great to see on this team. And certainly the fans like him. I mean, he got the loudest ovation, save Carey Price, when the team was introduced at the home opener. And that was great to see. And what he was doing on the penalty kill in front of the net, I mean, it was just hurting me watching Mike Condon watch Al Montoya with that shutout, because he probably would have liked some support like that clearing the puck away when he was in net for the Montreal Canadiens.
As much as Andrew Shaw looks smaller off the ice when you see him in the locker room, Shea Weber looks even bigger. I mean, I'm 6'3", and I feel small standing beside him. He's a big, large man, and you see him when he goes in the corner, he just shoves guys, and they go flying, and nobody really wants to shove him back. And I've noticed with him killing penalties, the opposition is very reluctant to stand in front of the net for any extended period of time.
Do you think he will ever become the captain of the Habs while Pacioretty is on the team? Do you think they would do that?
I don't think so. Listen, they can't. They'd have to do another vote. And why are you going to do another vote? You might as well, if you put him as captain, you might as well trade Pacioretty.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
I've said before, I think Carey Price is the real sort of leader in the room, and now they have Shea Weber, who's only going to help with that, and I think Shea Weber is going to help Max Pacioretty as far as a leadership thing. He's known as a man of few words. It's hard to get more than 2 words out of Shea Weber in an interview, but talking with Nathan Beaulieu, his partner, and he said he's actually very, very vocal on the ice and in the room once the reporters leave.
Okay. All right, at this point in the show, we have a brand new segment involving my man Stu. It's all him. You're going to love it. Take a look at this, everyone.
3 games into the NHL season, the Canadiens are averaging 3.7 goals per game, and the Nashville Predators are averaging only 2.3. Who would have thunk it? But there are still 79 games to go in the regular season, and it will be very interesting to see how things play out moving forward with both of these teams. It was refreshing when Carey Price finally came out and told the truth about why PK Subban was traded to Nashville in exchange for Shea Weber this summer, after GM Marc Bergevin insisted he wasn't trying to move the former Norris Trophy winner and was simply answering phone calls from other GMs. Price finally let everyone know that Subban simply did not fit into coach Michel Therrien's system. Said Price, "The way our game is structured and the way PK plays, we're headed in a different direction. PK is an offensive defenseman and a risk taker," the goalie added in an interview with Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman. "That's made him successful. That's the way he plays the game. He doesn't want to change that, and I respect that. We're looking for a steady type of defenseman that makes quick plays and is able to move the puck right away. Shea fits that bill perfectly." Now, was that so hard? Really? Price showed why he is the true leader of the Canadiens and the real character guy by finally setting the record straight on this trade. There might not be another team in the NHL that would trade its superstar player because the coach doesn't like his style of play and it doesn't fit into his system. Think about Alex Ovechkin in Washington. Normally, it's the coach who goes. But Bergevin has now put his own GM career on the line by making this blockbuster trade, and so far he's looking very good after 3 games. Shea Weber's been outstanding. He's a heck of a defenseman, and he should be able to help the Canadiens in the short term by bringing some much-needed leadership into the locker room and some toughness. The Canadiens really missed both of those last season when everything fell apart. But if things don't work out this season or in the near future, I can also envision a scenario 4 years down the road where Subban is gone, Therrien is gone, Bergevin is gone, and the Canadiens have a 35-year-old Shea Weber left in Montreal with a lot of tough miles on his body. Maybe I'll be proven wrong and that won't be the case. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to watching the Predators play this season. Sports Illustrated's Sam Page described it perfectly when he wrote that the Predators have become the Golden State Warriors of the NHL with PK in the lineup. That means plenty of offense with Subban and Roman Josi leading the way from the back end and coach Peter Laviolette actually letting his team go out and score some goals. It hasn't started out so well with the Predators, who are 1-2 in their first 3 games, but it will be a good thing for the NHL if the Predators' offensive style of play works. The league keeps bringing in new rules with the hopes of getting more goals, but coaches like Michel Therrien spend most of their time figuring out ways to stop goals instead of scoring them. Defense first. The NHL is a copycat league, and if the Predators have success with their new offensive system, maybe more teams will follow in their footsteps. That would make hockey a much more interesting game and exciting game for all of us to watch.
Starting his career at the turn of the century, man, that makes him sound old, Andrei Markov is embarking on his 16th NHL season. The man affectionately known as the General has been through 6 coaches, 3 captains, and has said a total of 17 words to the media, which for all you stat hounds out there is an impressive 1.06 words per year. That's an interesting statistic. He missed only 2 games in his past 3 seasons, and despite last year's collective team meltdown and looking a little tired towards the latter half of the season, his point production remained pretty much consistent. At 37 years old, the Hab that everyone loves to love hasn't really shown any big signs of falling off. How many more seasons do you think Andrei Markov has in him at more or less the same compete level? What do you think, Andy?
You know, I hate like prematurely retiring players or saying that it's somebody's time to go.
Not saying that.
And Andrei Markov, look, he brings what you're going to get from him when you're on the ice. And as you said, he's been relatively consistent. And you know, I think he gets beat up a little bit for what really comes down to misuse by the coach. Too many minutes for an older defenseman. If you keep him within, you know, that 20-minute, under 20-minute range, he could be a very effective defenseman for a while. I mean, 37 is not that old. I'm going to take exception to 37.
Well, you should see the way she's 37.
As old.
You should see the way she runs up and down the stairs. It's really
Markov,
quite something.
Look, he may not say a lot, but if you pay attention, Markov is one of the funniest guys in the room. He just is not a very verbose person. So, I mean, how many more years does he have left? It all depends on how his health holds up, how the rest of the defense core holds up around him, how much weight or load Shea Weber is going to be able to take off of his plate. But I mean, I don't want to see him go.
Mikhail Sergachev might be the funniest guy in the room. If he sticks around, he had a great line. They're asking him if he is, you know, going to live in a hotel, live with another player, what he's going to do. And someone said if you asked Markov about maybe living with him, and he smiled and says, "I think I'll live in a hotel." But Markov, you know, the thing that concerns me a little bit about Markov is speed is a big part of his game. You know, Weber's not the fastest guy, but it's not really his game. And if he loses that little bit of a step, I think it might affect him. But again, the key is going to be for Michel Therrien to keep him to about 20 minutes of ice time per game. And if there are no injuries on the defense core, I think that can happen.
Yeah, the ice time certainly has to be kept in check. It hasn't the past couple of years. You know, after the 2 knee injuries in 1 year, 37 years old. Could he play till 40? It should be interesting what they're going to do with the contract. Are they going to sign him year to year? Is he going to accept that? This guy should retire a Montreal Canadien. I hate to see him go somewhere else just to grab some money the last year or two. I hope he does hold up. But he's such a smart player. He's able to compensate for some of that, say, lack of speed at this point in his career. But, you know, he's still a very effective player. But, again, it's controlling the minutes.
Well, he had 23 minutes and 50 seconds he averaged last year, which was second only to Subban, who was just over 26 minutes. But Michel Therrien has made it clear he wants to keep him to 20 minutes.
Okay. What were all of your thoughts on Tuesday night's home opener against Pittsburgh? Did you like the game? What were your likes and dislikes?
I think so far Al Montoya is the biggest offseason signing of anybody after all the talk of Shea Weber. He's got Velcro on him. The thing is, there's going to be long games with him in net because he smothers everything. There's face-offs like crazy. So it'll be key for the Canadiens to do well in the face-off circle when he plays. But it also makes me wonder what might have happened last year if Marc Bergevin had maybe found a little bit of a better goalie after Carey Price went down. But it's only 3 games in, but Al Montoya has really impressed me the first few games.
Yeah, it's impressed me too. It's good to see he's able to do the job. You know, I don't have a problem with him freezing the puck a lot. Against a team like Pittsburgh, they get so much speed. They go. It's pushing the pace all the time. And sometimes it's nice just to hang on to that puck and catch your breath. Not only for the goaltender, for everybody else out there. They were going last night constantly. I mean, that game started. Talk about excitement. The first 2 minutes of the game, there were like 5 shots on net. So, they played a real good game. It was fun to see them come out and win their home opener in front of their fans.
Yeah, and pushing the pace for sure. I mean, against Pittsburgh, what a track meet that game was, and I thought it was great to see the Canadiens being able to play that style. I liked the puck movement that we saw in that game. Montoya obviously was a bright spot. 36 saves he made in that win, and you know, a lot of other bright spots as well. Alex Radulov. I mean, that goal, whether or not you think it was goalie interference, it was a pretty pretty sweet
I don't
goal.
think it was goal.
I didn't. He got pushed in, but I mean that's
And
the thing.
Brendan Gallagher, who else in the
often
crease?
gets pushed
And he was
in
up
the,
in top of his crease too. There's too much protection of goalies. Ridiculous. Don't even get me into that.
Tell us more,
Guys are
Chris. How you really
ridiculous.
think?
One thing with Montoya, though, he might want to
ridiculous.
stay in his crease a little more.
Not
He's
you,
definitely
the refs.
He's definitely not Carey Price handling the puck. He was a little shaky going out of the net.
Is Carey Price coming back for Thursday night's game? Is he going to be in nets?
Well, I think what Montoya has done is there's no reason to rush him back. I mean, watching Carey Price come out for the pregame introductions, he visibly looked like he had lost some weight. I mean, Montoya's played well. I don't see why you don't play him again Thursday night against Arizona. Give Carey a few more days and then bring him back Saturday night in Boston.
I could swear I saw him limping.
Something up, Chris?
Start the conspiracy theories.
So you think he has a flu?
Well, you
in
saw
other
he lost weight. I saw him limping. What did you
Listen,
see?
I know,
Did he have a
I
bump
know-
on his head?
I know how a man wears a suit, okay, and that suit looked a little loose on him. So yes, I do think he looked
It's a
a little.
style now.
I do think
It's
he
a
looked a
style,
little
yeah.
skinny.
One of the
in
HIO
suit.
comments was he put a brace on the flu.
Yeah, I do find it a little bizarre. I mean, that is a long time to be sick for a professional athlete like
Hello.
that.
Yeah.
It's going on
So
a
I
year.
mean, these guys are like high functioning machines. So
Well,
look,
when
either he was
Paul Barron bounced back from pneumonia pretty quick.
so.
But if you've had a really, really bad flu,
I'm
and if
weighing
it
it
was a
against the
stomach
new
flu,
baby at home, you know, the little germ factories that they are. So I'm gonna give that a little bit, but
You're blaming
yeah,
his child.
it'd be nice to. I'm gonna blame the child. Absolutely,
Blame
we'd
the
rather
child.
blame the wife or the child.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go with the child.
All right, that's all the time we have for this week. I want to thank our guests. You know, it's their job, but they showed up anyways. Stu, Chris, Andy, thank you all at home for watching. Leave comments in the comment section below. Follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook. That's the thing that we're pushing. I'm Adam Susser. Check you next week, Internet.